So I thought Rayman Mini was entirely inaccessible today, but as it turns out, you can download the entire thing for free on Internet Archive. Here I was thinking Apple Arcade was a live streaming service like PlayStation Now. In my case, I have a MacBook that I can install it on, and this could be the first time it's directly contributed to a video. So presently, the only Rayman mobile game that can't be accessed is Rayman Adventures, technically. It works until the third adventure, where you'd then need to connect to their non-existent server to continue. I doubt that'll always be the case though. The game's data's all in there and just takes someone with the right skill to crack it. Right, so Rayman Mini. How should I introduce it? Everything you need to know is in the title itself, really. I didn't think this game even had a story until I read up, and apparently it's all revealed in a trailer. Flaming Teensy? Flaming Teensy?
Hello guys, I am Flaming Teensy, and today I'm going to announce that
shrinks Rayman for some reason, and now Rayman has to reverse his spell. I guess the Flaming Teensy was some unlockable character they gave a story to? Man, what is up with all this good Teensy gone bad stuff in the UbiArt games? Rayman Mini's environments are beautifully detailed. It's delightful at a standstill. I particularly enjoyed its lighting effects. Sometimes you'll see plant life growing or changing around you, and it gives it a more lively feeling. I do find the environments a tad distracting from the gameplay though. Rayman Mini feels like you're playing someone's art project, and considering, I do wish I could experience it outside the confines of an autorunner. Now I can't say whether it was this game or Rayman Adventures before it, but it seems like they've remastered a lot of the Origins era artwork. Considering how many smaller assets needed to be blown up for this game to work, I imagine that was necessary to do. You might be wondering if the game is consistent with its tiny theme, and yeah, it is. Though I did end up forgetting that was the case for most of the game. I don't know, a lot of Rayman games already have that massive jungle vibe to it, so it didn't feel too dramatically different in that aspect. There's a lot of giant bugs buzzing around though, so that's pretty cool. The end of world boss fights will definitely make you feel small, especially when it involves a much larger enemy, which is, usually a generic regular-sized enemy. I will admit this doesn't happen often in the game, but it's still there. I've been told that Rayman Mini has the worst music in a Rayman game. Really? Worse than this? Look, I'll be first to admit the music loops before you start a game are just awful. Woohoo! But when you're actually in the stage, it does a full rundown and sounds fine. Most of the time, at least. Some of it actually reminded me of the Rayman 3 kind of weirdness, Speaking of something weird, in Jungle Run and Fiesta Run, Rayman never pops upon death. He does in both Origins and Legends, then from Adventures onwards, he pops again. When this occurs in Rayman Mini, a record slowdown effect is used on the music, and that's very cartoony. I like it. Huh? I got an achievement? For what? I guess Apple has some social gaming platform called Game Center? Ooh, I'm learning Swag Coin. When did this come out? 2019. Damn. That's late. Now I've unlocked a new world? Interesting progression method. Regardless of what direction you choose in this game, you still need to defeat the first 5 bosses to unlock a certain noteworthy challenge mode. That is, if you care. We'll talk about that later. Restarting levels is a constant in Rayman Mini. They've even remarked about it in the trailer. Why this happens, I don't think is a result of skill, but because it's full of sudden tricks and traps that in many cases I can't see anyone predicting on the first go. On some levels, you also get very little time to react to what's in front of you. Eventually I started looking at this game as if it was Geometry Dash, and somehow that managed to help me click into the formula better. Regarding those aforementioned sudden tricks, the game often exploits natural pattern recognition to be deliberately unpredictable. I might not be able to find accurate footage of this, but one example I can think of is, perhaps the game is expecting you to ground pound a spider web to make greater height. Everything's flying so fast that you instinctively get used to ground pounding those spider webs, only for the last obstacle in the stage to kill you for doing that. How can the player know ahead of time that this specific spider web can't be ground pounded? That's when the game's trailer started to make so much more sense to me. This is intentional by design. While far from an extreme example of it, Rayman Mini is absolutely a rage game, and you're going to fail. A lot. Especially on boss fight levels, which crank up the speed to 11, and the way forward isn't always obvious either. If you've ever wondered why UbiArt Rayman has this drugged out stare with his mouth hanging out all the time, Rayman Mini verifies that Rayman canonically consumes magic mushrooms, but whether it's by choice or not is up for debate. Please don't take that too seriously. It is a joke. Once you've finished the 5th world, you'll discover there's a bonus 6th world. That's a tongue twister. I took a day or two off of playing this game, and now returning to it, you know what? I'm good. No discredit to Rayman Mini or anything like that, it's actually a fairly competent game. I'm just not much into the whole auto-runner genre to begin with. By stopping here, I do miss out on an auto-running boss level with the flaming teensy. Watching a gameplay video is good enough for me. When Rayman Mini was announced, many were upset that the series was getting yet another mobile-style auto-running game. We'd seen it all before, and now it's been 6 years since the last proper Rayman game. Going into 2026, we've now doubled that. Damn. Say what you will about Rayman Mini, but at least it was something. The idea for Mini came straight from Rayman's creator Michel Ancel, and the development team seemed to enjoy the time that they spent with it, as the interviews suggest. But I still feel like behind the scenes, this was some kind of partnership deal with Apple. It did, after all, release on the Apple Arcade launch day. You really think Ubisoft were sitting around saying, "God, we need to have games on the Apple Arcade"? Rayman Mini has a few extras like, I guess first I'll talk about the unlockable costumes. Yeah, these are okay, I guess. Oh, neat, they got character descriptions. Teensies are the wizards that guard the Glade of Dreams. Yeah, they sure, they do that well. Let's see Glowbox. He's Rayman's best friend, follows on his adventures as long as there's something to eat. That's fun. Combined with his sound effects and fat frogginess, if I didn't know this guy already, I do now. Let's see what they had to say about Barbara. This small barbarian princess is a strong and fierce warrior. No one wields an axe quite like her. Why do these games continually resist telling me anything about Barbara beyond what you'd know by just looking at her? I would love to care about this character, but Ubisoft keeps telling me no. So another included extra at launch was the challenge mode. It's about accomplishing certain feats on stages that loop infinitely. And according to this game hint, they were supposed to change on a weekly basis. The remaining extras weren't included at launch, but introduced with later updates. Like the music stages, for example. They seem to be entirely unique, though do reuse a lot of the music from Rayman Legends. These are fun. If you like those in Legends, I don't see why you wouldn't like these. Then I tried the Mr. Dark contract mode, which I was fairly intrigued by. Mr. Dark is finally back? For real this time? Not really. I mean, he's there, but only in the menus. I did appreciate being able to hear him vocalize for the first time. I like his voice, I think it's fitting. So, the contract changes daily. What is the contract, you ask? Well, it takes the form of 3 existing adventure levels to complete with added objectives. On the first day, I had to break open 2 floating teensy cages for each. On the second day, it was the same, but on different levels. I could be wrong, but it seems that the objective would change once I exceeded a certain skill level. You'd have to wait around for some days to find out, I guess. I just discovered on the Ray Wiki that one of Mr. Dark's voice lines is the word coronavirus reversed in French. Once you complete one of Mr. Dark's contracts, you won't be able to do another until the following day. In my case, I had to wait 2 days because, I don't know, maybe it works on 24-hour periods? I just wanted to see if this daily progression thing would still work after the game's delisted, and it does. So the game is overall just as playable now as it was back then, I guess. The reward for completing these Mr. Dark missions are some goofy little critters that you can slap around. Alright, that's a fun little goofy critter. Rayman Adventures had some stuff like this too, so I guess it's being carried over from that game. Fine, it's like a little Chow Garden thing. If you've decided to play Rayman Mini but only want the original gameplay, then that's in the Adventure and Music mode. Otherwise, the Challenge and even Mr. Dark mode just reuses missions from the Adventure mode, so I guess you could think of them like optional New Game Plus content. Now with all said and done, I'm giving Rayman Mini a, I wouldn't play this on my own, but I understand why people would, out of 10. Something I would have loved to see for the now past 30th anniversary of Rayman is some kind of mega compilation of these 4 UbiArt mobile games on Steam. And why not a digital release on consoles too while you're at it? Yeah, people have been fed up with these games in the past, but Technically, I was one of them too, and yet here I've been playing them out of curiosity 6 years later. Please deliver 2026.